So in this lecture, we are continuing with the properties of the functions of complex variable. We have seen some property in the part 1, and now we are going to cover some more in the part 2. So this is a part of the course PH 3103 at ISAR Calcutta. Uh, of course, you can also see my name through me. I am Rajesh Nayak. So, okay, let's enough of fooling around. Let's continue. Continue with the example. F of z is equal to z to the power n for n is equal to 2. We have seen nth root of complex number z is equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta can be given as this. This is explicitly written for our present case where n is equal to 2. So omega k, we have a square root of r cos theta plus 2k pi by 2 plus I sin theta plus 2k pi by 2. Here k takes the value of 0 and 1. So we have two roots corresponding to given complex number z. If we take k is equal to 0, then we can define the principal square root function, which is z to the power 1/2. Square root of mod z into e power argument of z by 2, explicitly square root of r e to the power I theta by 2. Now you see that for a square root of z has two values, that is a two-valued function, but we don't want to have two values. We want to stick to only one value. Then we use principal square root function. Here we select only k is equal to 0 root and ignore all other if you have more. In this case, there is only one other extra root which we ignore completely. So in this case, u is square root of r into cos theta by 2 and v is square root of r sin theta by 2, where r square is x square plus y square and tan theta is y by 2. So again, here we are mapping from xy plane. Though we are using the Cartesian coordinates, we can also use polar coordinate. It does not make a difference. We will eventually plot on the Cartesian coordinates only. So we map entire xy plane into half uv plane. You see that in the earlier function, entire uv plane, half plane mapped into full uv plane, and the full xy plane is mapped twice into uv plane. On the other hand, here we are having a xy plane mapped into half uv plane. Let's exactly see what is happening with this example. Let's plot some of the lines without going into other detail. Let's plot the set of curve x is equal to constant. These are the straight line vertical or parallel to the y-axis. X is equal to 0 corresponds to y-axis, and you can see that it is a straight line passing through the origin with the which makes an angle of 90 degree with respect to each other. All the positive side straight line, that is x is equal to positive, passing through x is equal to positive, would takes out to be shape of parabolas around the x-axis. Now you can see that other curves, negative x curves, that is a y-axis along the negative x side, it takes a curve here on the both sides of the x-axis in the symmetric fashion. So this is how it maps. But important thing to note here is that though we have a value of -4 to +4, that did not map into negative u side of the uv plane. All this simply mapped into 0 to positive side of the uv plane. On the other hand, v axis covered both positive and negative. So this is to say that this maps only into first this half of the plane, where v is equal to minus is never covered by this function. Let's see what happened to y is equal to constant surfaces. These are the lines parallel to the x-axis. Y is equal to 0 corresponds to x-axis, and that we see that it is making a two straight line which is perpendicular to each other, one on the x-axis and one on the y-axis. It looks like the previous plot, is rotated by 45 degrees, and we are getting this new set of curves. Y is equal to positive lines, this set of all lines on the upper side of the x-axis. They are all mapped into positive quadrant of UV plane into various parabolas around x is equal to y-axis, and the same way negative y-axis are all plotted into curves parabola around x is equal to minus y, and these again important thing here to note is that all the mapping is only on the positive side, that is u is equal to positive, and v is covered both positive and negative. So all the thing only mapped into one side of the UV plane, so it covers only half plane. So let us look at the multivariate function. We have seen that the function like z to the power n, z to the power half had two roots. Z to the power 1 by n would have a n root of complex number z. So when you make this mapping, there are n values this function take corresponding to every complex number z. So this is a multivariate function. Another function which is argument of z. Argument of z when x is the angle of 2 pi, again it maps back into the same thing. So you can add n2 pi to any argument and you would represent the same point. Then you have a whole series of infinite values for argument of z. It is a function in a loosely speaking way. A proper function should not do that. A proper mathematical function should take a one point from the domain and map into a single point in the image. That is, f of z should be one point for given value of z. So, but complex numbers are a bit complex, so they seems to be violating all this rule, and the norm of multivariate function is commonly used in the complex analysis. Riemann developed an interesting method to map this or visualize this multivariate function using a construct called the Riemann surface. So here we will go over the Riemann surface and how to construct for the some set of function, but will not be very rigorous, just represent the idea and go on with it to just to show how you can utilize Riemann surfaces to visualize the multivariate function. We are going to construct a Riemann surface here. It is done with the papers. So we are not using any sophisticated technology to draw or make Riemann surfaces. So it can be easily done on the computers. That is not the point. To have a more insight, one can do it and hold it in hand nicely. We need a few things. The first one is a bunch of papers. This is what they make by cutting a lot of trees. It's an important part of this Riemann surface. You would need scissors, preferably blue colored, and you need tape to paste things together, preferably white color, and hammer. Hammer is always useful for making things work. So let's look at this paper. As far as we are concerned, it represents the complex plane in the polar coordinate system. That is why we have cut the paper into circular sheet. Would have used rectangular in the Cartesian coordinate system. Let's mark the x-axis or theta is equal to 0 line. The radial coordinate is not useful here because we can assume everything happening on the unit circle. We are not talking about radius because the multivariate function nature comes mainly because of the argument or the angular coordinate. Even with our regular geometry, r theta phi coordinate, we know that the theta has to be restricted from 0 to 2 pi. Beyond 2 pi, theta has no meaning, but we can map back into the same thing. So this theta goes from 0 to 2 pi, and then beyond that in our conventional system, it would simply map back into the whole place between 0 to 2 pi. this multi-valued nature come because of this property of this. Let's see how to overcome this problem. So one of the simplest way is to, let's say that you want to plot the argument of z. So you have theta is equal to 0, and then you go on theta is equal to 2 pi. You know that it will have to exceed the value of 2 pi, and then it will map back. To avoid mapping back to the same point, Riemann thought a very interesting concept. Let's cut this across theta is equal to 0 line, which is also theta is equal to, let's say that we are reaching from 0 to 4 pi. That means we need one more of the complex plane. So in this case also, let's cut this in the axis. Let's call it a 0 axis, but we want to start this sheet of paper from 2 pi to 4 pi. So our starting point here is simply 2 pi. Intuitively, it is clear that all we need to do is simply paste this here. We take construct first page, that is which has a 0 to 2 pi, and the second page which has 2 pi to 4 pi, and then align these two and paste only line corresponding to 2 pi in the both sheets. Okay, we can do it neatly, putting a tape across. That is why we need tape. Let's fold this here, and now you have 2 pi and 2 pi line which we paste using blue scissors and white tape. Now it is smoothly connected across this. Now you have a not really complex plane. It looks like more like a spiral staircase on which you start theta is equal to 0. Okay, you start with the theta equal to 0, then go on theta is equal to pi by 2, theta is equal to 3 pi by 2, then go on the same sheet of paper 3 pi by 2, and then you reach pi. Now we have cut across and joined this paper. Now we are switching on to second paper, and then we go on and completing this all around this paper, and we reach to 4 pi. See, now the our function can be easily mapped onto this. What if you want more? Yeah, more is always good. So now you take another paper, again cut using preferably blue scissors, and then you want to start this from 4 pi. Okay, you want to start from 4 pi and end at 6 pi. Okay, again you take the 4 pi line on the both papers and then paste them. So it's as simple as that. The Riemann construct is very simple here. Now you reverse it. These two are the lines, 4 pi lines. Align them properly. Fold it if necessary. Cut a piece of tape and paste them. So now here we have a complex plane. Well, it is not a plane, it's much more complicated than maybe spiral. So which starts from 0, then goes to 2 pi on one paper, then goes to 2 pi to 4 pi on the second paper, and then it goes to 4 pi to 6 pi on the topmost paper. So I have made it with 3 paper. If you want to make an argument of z, you have to put an infinite number of these papers and make a staircase to heaven, a spiral staircase to heaven, where you will get the full enlightenment of Riemann geometry. Riemann geometry, it's a Riemann surface. Riemann geometry is a completely different topic. Okay, so here you can map, and this won't be multivalued function because each one comes nicely on the specific sheet, and then you have these spirals are all added up. Nice, you think so? No, not really. Let's throw it. It is useless now because it cannot represent our function f of z is equal to z square. What happens in the f of z is equal to z square? It traces the angle from 0 to 2 pi and then 2 pi to 4 pi. After reaching 4 pi, you want to get back to 2 pi. Okay, that's interesting, but can we do it with the Riemann surface? So again, you need a paper for 0 to 2 pi. You need another paper 0 to 2 pi. In the first paper, let's mark the axis from 0 to 2 pi. That's our axis. We need to cut it, otherwise we cannot paste the thing. So now in the second paper also we cut. In this case it is 2 pi to 4 pi. So let's write it also so that we don't confuse it. So here 0 and here 2 pi. Okay, and here we start from 2 pi and we end in the 4 pi. Now we need some way to join 4 pi back to 0. Okay, how it is to be done? So it's again some kind of a thinking has to go in. So what we do is we have this paper, we call it paper 1 top. Okay, the second one we call it 2 top, where both our numbers are marked. This is our coordinate system. We have 1 bottom, no coordinate system, 2 bottom, no coordinate system. Okay, now we need to paste these 2 papers such that 0 maps back to 4 pi. One way to do it is we add this top together, that is our coordinate system, and bottom on the outside, 2 places, top is inside, bottom is outside. Then paste these 2 edges, okay, separately, not with one another. Now if you peep inside, so you would see that 0 is mapping to 4 pi or 4 pi coming back to 0. On the other side, 2 pi mapping to 2 pi. So that is what we exactly need. So let's paste it up with the sheet of tape, preferably white, cut with the blue scissors. Okay, so you can also see it. Now on the other side, okay, we don't need this. Let's paste it here and then make another small piece of white tape, cut with the blue scissors. Now we paste it here and then close it. Okay, now we have this interesting piece of paper where one side is no coordinate system, and inside we give a peep, we see a structure on which we start from 0. Okay, we start from 0 and travel along this top 1, the sheet marked top 1, go like this. On the same paper we go like this, we reach pi, and then we reach 3 pi by 2, and when we reach 2 pi, there is no way to go other than switching over to the other paper. At the bottom, or we marked it as a top 2, which is now at the lower side, and then we go on this. Another pi by pi is added, another half pi is added, and we reach 4 pi, and then we are coming back to 0. So this is a Riemann surface which we need for mapping f of z is equal to z square. Now you see that everywhere under this construct we have a angle going from 0 to 4 pi, and then 4 pi mapping back to 0. So it's an interesting paperwork. You can hold it, touch it, and feel it, unlike what is in the virtual world. So you can clearly see how the function f of z is equal to z square can be mapped without having a misunderstanding whether upper half of the plane is mapped into which section and lower half mapped into which section. Here they are all mapped into separate sheet in the continuous manner, coming back to again 0 when we reach 2 pi. This is what Riemann did, and it is called the Riemann surface. For every function you may have to do this the same way. You can do our old sheet. Let's look at our old sheet. This is what we have done. We have gone from 0 and then 2 pi, then we went to 4 pi on the top sheet, and then we reached to 6 pi. Now suppose I have a function which I want to reach back to 0, then you got to do some circus here, and then do this connection. I am all tearing it up, but you can do more carefully, and or use some more interesting method to connect this pi and 2 pi, and then you can have a smooth function representing f of z is equal to z cube. So this way we can represent the multivariate function without making a mess. Neat function as f of z is equal to z square, and not having the multivariate function. You can do it at home